Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Lunch with Lucy. For those of you who have joined for the first time, we're so happy that you're here. My name is Kate Remillard. I'm on the marketing team at VHT Studios, and I will be your MC today. We have an amazing guest with us, but before we get started, I need to mention that we have everyone muted except for our panelist. So as Lucy said, if you have questions for our guest, please put them in the Q&A box on your screen and we will answer them as we go and save some to the end. You'll also want to hang around till the end of the session. We will announce the winners of 5 free lunch provided by VHT Studios. So you must be present to win. And now I'm happy to introduce Lucy Edwards.
Hello, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here. And today I'm so proud to have a great guest, Miki Alam Khan. Miki is the president of Luxury Portfolio International. So it's an honor, Miki, to have you here. And we have a lot of very interesting topics to cover. But I encourage you to please let us know what really interests you. So we want to make sure that you benefit from your lunch, besides having a beautiful lunch wherever you are right now. So let's begin. How are you doing, Miki?
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you so much for inviting me to your program. And many thanks to Kate Remillard and VHT Studios. You know, we enjoy our partnership with you, and I'm so looking forward to this 30 minutes. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Miki. So let's begin with, how did the luxury market change from pre-pandemic to what's going on right now throughout the country?
Thank you, Lucy. So as you're all aware, you know, the pandemic basically caused a change in demand. And, you know, folks who lived in densely populated areas wanted to move as far away from people as possible. So they moved. We saw in the United States the trend from the north to the south, from high tax states to low tax states, from densely populated areas to suburbs and exurbs. So basically everything to keep you safe from the virus. And New York, for example, we lost quite a few people. And, you know, we lost them to Florida, and we lost them to, you know, the Carolinas and to Tennessee. But that doesn't mean that these cities are written off. I mean, now we're seeing, even though the pandemic's still going on, the New York market is coming back. And we're seeing more of an interest in condos, rentals are going up, co-ops have still maintained some of their demand. But I feel like on average, there is a flight from densely populated areas to low density areas. And of course, people are using this as an occasion to rethink their life. It's basically almost dovetailed with a lifestyle change. So that's what's going on.
And what about larger cities? I know you are from New York, so it's probably close to your heart. So what about other cities like Chicago or Los Angeles, that basically has very high taxes, but it's still a very popular destination? Texas, for example, what do you think about Houston and Dallas?
Yes, so let's talk about California and Los Angeles in particular. Now, if you're in the ultra high net worth market, and, you know, I mean, we still see tremendous growth in Beverly Hills and Holmby Hills and Bel Air, those markets. But the rest of the city, you do see this migration where people can afford. They're moving to Arizona. They're moving to states that are basically the same warm climate, but, you know, more safety and, you know, more affordability, more bang for your buck. Chicago, again, you're seeing, you know, it's the same thing as the Northeast. You know, people are rethinking their lives and moving to warmer states. But I do not write off these cities, because you know what? As people come back to offices, and as companies require their staff to be there 3 days a week or 2 days a week, or some cases 5 days a week, you'll have no option. If you want to have a secure job in a big corporation, you'll have to make sure you're close to a big metro. So I feel like, you know, Chicago will come back. I was in Chicago a few days ago, and the streets are busier now. New York, obviously, I'm seeing more and more people coming back to offices. And, you know, we write off, you know, these big cities at our peril. Those people who are looking to buy homes, the millennials and all that, that process was accelerated. So if they're looking to start a family, they would have normally gone to the suburbs in any case. So where they've done that 3 years down the road, they're doing that now. So we are basically borrowing from the future, so to speak.
So tell me, please, just a little shift in my approach and my questions, and how important it is. For example, right now, we notice more and more agents looking into new approach, new development of themselves. The brand is extremely important. And because the market is changing, again, like cities, suburbs, we see more and more agents getting licenses in different states. How important it is choosing the right brokerage to represent you when you already have an established brand and you already have your vision, but you would like to be part of something, of someone successful, and to bring you to another level?
A very good question, Lucy. You know, most agents are independent contractors, so they're the brands themselves. You have to build your own following, your own black book. But what you need is the umbrella of a very strong organization that can provide you infrastructural help. You need a very strong marketing program backing you, in addition to your own efforts. And that's why it's very important to go with a very strong brand. The second recommendation I'd have is basically making sure that the brokerage is locally tied, has great, strong local relationships, and is well known in its market. So you want to make sure that the brand with whom you ally is not simply just offering you a platform, but it's offering you networks, relationships, education, the opportunity to network with like-minded and smart agents themselves. So I always tell folks that, you know, you're allying your brand with another brand, and make sure that both of you have the same values and the same mindset. Because at the end of the day, when you're going to prospect, or you're going to present to a potential client, it's your brand that counts, and it's also the big label that you represent. And, you know, one needs the other. They're not mutually exclusive. But I come back to this: you have to have good relationships in the communities, make sure that your firm is deeply entrenched in the community, and obviously make sure that you take full advantage of their marketing program. And that's how you go with a platform or a brokerage. Don't just get seduced by, hey, someone's offering you $1 million. Guess what? You'll run through that money in 3 years, and then you'll have no business left.
I totally agree with you. I believe that aligning both brands is very important. Also, to see what the company is offering,
Yes.
like, for example, luxury portfolio program. I did presentation the other day, and I was talking about, make sure to use all the relationships your company already invested in financially, and their energy and education and negotiations. So make sure you study what the company offers, so you utilize every single step of the way. And I think that is also very important. And then we can go back to the market. So how do you see the market trending for the remainder of 2021 and maybe like flowing into 2022?
Well, I see demand continuing to outstrip supply. Now, unfortunately, COVID has come back in certain states, right? And it's basically an epidemic, it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And that has a domino effect on people who are vaccinated, because now you have these mask mandates in certain cities where you've got to wear the mask indoors, even though you're vaccinated, because, you know, this Delta variant and Delta Plus variant, it breaks through. Even though you're vaccinated, you can still get infected. And if you're around a child who's under 12, or around someone who's not vaccinated, you're still going to infect that person potentially. So that's the environment we are in right now. So we thought that come summertime, things would trend down in terms of, infections and all that. But I see it as going back up again, which means those folks who did not make the decision to move in the first wave and the second wave, now they'll start looking. So I foresee a third wave. So you're going to have, maybe the best inventory was off the market. Now you're going to see a scramble for the second tier inventory in the luxury end of the market. And I think you're going to see continued demand. I don't know if all the migration will happen from the Northeast or from cold states to the southern states, because the southern states are where the infection is right now. Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, unfortunately, even Florida, your own backyard. I mean, we are seeing the cases go up. But, I think in general, people still want to move to these warmer states and low tax states. So through the end of this year, I see the market, the demand continuing. 2022, I expect the same to continue. The only change might be the interest rate. If the government decides to basically raise interest rates because of the fear of inflation, that is a real, genuine fear. And that might push up mortgage rates. And that'll obviously have domino effect on everything else, because people who are hanging on to their second homes or third homes as investments may want to basically offload that. So you'll see more inventory come back on the market. Landlords may think this is a good time to get rid of excess inventory if they have high-end stuff. So continued demand for homes. The challenge is in new builds and new homes. The price of raw materials has gone up. In many cases, you can't meet the demand for that. Lumber prices are still very high. We still have the issue with Canada over, the tariffs on Canadian lumber versus US lumber. And, the US lumber industry is absolutely resistant to lowering the tariffs because they feel the Canadians are dumping their lumber in the market. You're going to have that problem. You're going to have a problem with getting stuff from China because, there's a backlog there. So it'll still take time to basically build your pool, to build your new home. So new developments will not be able to catch up to demand. So you're going to see continued demand for existing homes and more pressure on the new homes market, and we won't be able to fulfill that. So if you're a seller, it's going to continue to be a seller's market right through the end of 2022, barring war or terrorism. Because if you're following the geopolitical developments, we have issues with Russia, with China, and who knows, right? So anyways, it's still a good time to sell your home, in short.
Yeah, it's just that unfortunately not too many volunteers to sell their homes right now. Well, in the last year, the agents really got adjusted and adapted to the new way of promoting themselves and promoting their listings. The education has gone up tremendously. It's incredible what the agents were going through and how they were investing in themselves and in new technology like 3D tours, floor plans, more videos, and on and on and on. What do you think is going to happen going forward? Because we noticed that the agent on average is spending so much more money per listing in compare with what they used to before the pandemic. Do you expect agents to invest more in their brand advertising and marketing?
Yes, I think, a smart agent will always build up his or her brand. It's very important because at the end of the day, I mean, you're an independent contractor and you represent something. So you have to be very clear what your values are. And I have to say this, you got to toot your own horn. But I firmly believe that it's not just building the brand, it's making sure that you're tied into community events. A smart agent will make sure that he or she goes to events in the evening, to cocktail parties. If they're a member of a club, make sure you network well, because you never know where you'll get your next sale from. And, I forgot to mention this, but the appeal of a network like Luxury Portfolio is basically the referral business, right? If we have 550 companies in leading RE and 235 members of Luxury Portfolio, one brokerage sitting in Idaho can refer a client to someone sitting in Florida, and then you get the referral fee. So that is the referral part of the business, but you have to make sure that you're networked in your community. You have to make sure that you invest some money in your video. Go to a professional videographer, because you want to make sure the background is great. You want to make sure that's 30 to 60 seconds. When you're sending a V card to your prospect, they must have confidence in those 30 seconds. They must see that. It shouldn't just be a hard sell. They should see the genuine warmth, and your earnestness must come through. So that's very important. And third, your writing skills. Just don't treat it as, I hate to say this, sometimes I see so many typos, 2-line emails full of typos. What impression does that create on a potential seller, right? I mean, and someone, if someone sees that this person doesn't even take the time to clean up their language, how will they behave when it comes to the house? Like, what else are they not taking care of, right? So it's a fully rounded package. I'm not saying that just invest in clothes and invest in that stuff, but make sure your fundamentals are strong. Invest in your education, very important. Read, read, read. Take the time to sit through webinars if you can. Try to update your skill set. I always say it's upskilling. We always need that, right? If you're a physician every 2 years, you've got to sit for that exam again to basically make sure that you're up to speed with the latest technologies in your field, the latest skills, the latest advances there. Same thing for agents. You have to remember that younger folks today, they want digital, but it doesn't mean if you're affluent, they're not reading print. Print is very effective at the very, very high end. So don't neglect that market. So if you're looking to advertise, keep certain magazines in mind that are local or the target market. So it's a 360-degree development of your brand.
I totally agree with you, except for one thing: shopping and new outfits are very important.
Well, if you get a discount with your Neiman Marcus guy, fantastic, because that's another relationship you've built. And just talking to your personal shopper there, or talking to the people there, you can basically always say, hey, if one of your clients is looking for a house, let them know. You just don't know where you'll get the business. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You do need clothes do, unfortunately, they do create the first impression. You're right.
To me, it's important. Every time I go shopping and I'm suggesting to get myself a new outfit, my husband agrees with me because it's investment in me. So
That's wonderful.
And coming back to your comment about networking and referral business, I think one of the amazing parts of being part of your program of Luxury Portfolio International is that you are throughout the country. So residence is so important now. There are so many people who are selling their large home because they would like to downsize anyway, but they would like to invest in different parts of the country. They love to ski, and at the same time, maybe they want something in Arizona or Florida or wherever. And the network that you are talking about, if someone has a client in New York City who is getting rid of their large apartment and just getting a studio, but investing in Utah and Florida, you need to have those contacts, because you don't have the agents that you grew up with in Utah, but because of your program, they can really rely on the consistency and quality of agents who are part of your program. Is that so?
That is absolutely true. And for Luxury Portfolio, we have about 235 member brokerages. And each and every one of these brokerages is locally invested in their community. They know the buyers, they know the sellers. All the agents there are locals. They hobnob with these people. They're on their PTA board. They're in their clubs. They're colleagues. I mean, so the charm of a network like ours, because it's entrepreneurial, it's very often family owned, and basically they've been in business for decades. They're not here, they're not fly by nights. These are not folks that basically have gone IPO and basically got a boatload of money, and the chickens will come home to roost in 5 years when they're asked to actually produce profits. These companies have to be profitable or they'll be bust. So whatever they do is making sure that if they have to survive and hand it over to the next generation, they'll do everything in their power to make sure they're relevant in their communities. And that's the reason why I always recommend, when agents, even if you're joining our network or one of the members, one of the brokerages in our network, do your research. These are firms with strong family values, they're strong branded values, strong local presence, and also international in scope, because guess what? They're learning from their colleagues and peers. luxury portfolio is not just US. I mean, we have members around the globe. And we have members in Europe, we have members in Asia Pacific, we have members in Latin America, in Africa, in the Caribbean, and North America. So that's the benefit. And we still make sure that it's a very friendly environment.
Mhm.
And that's the key thing. It's a genial network.
So how do you help your agents and your participants and your members on daily basis? Do you create certain programs? Do you encourage them to have those programs? You have webinars where they can educate themselves on what you are offering and how they are benefiting from every angle of your organization.
Absolutely. You hit on some of the things we are doing. Lucy, what luxury portfolio is basically the brokerages and its agents luxury marketing program. It's their intelligence program. It's their networking program. We invest heavily on education. I just hired a new director of training and profession development. She comes from a very big, I should say, a real estate company. Can't name names, you know that. But guess what? This is all she's done. And we've developed a brand new education program. We've got workshops, we've got training capsules, completely refreshed. And keeping in mind 2025, not 2015, right? That's the approach there. Webinars, we consolidated our digital communications into one webinar, the Luxury Hour. And we do that every month. You were very kind enough to be on that webinar along with one of our participants, Brigitte. Diane Ramirez, who's a former chairman of the leading real estate companies of the world. She's also on your webinar right now. She's participated in our events. And we've got all people who have something to contribute joining us to spend 1 hour helping our agents understand where the market's going. What's new, what's next? That's our whole purpose there. Plus, we've got our regular conferences. Again, we're bringing the luxury sensibility. I'm bringing luxury brands, not just real estate brands. We're bringing brands from different sectors of the luxury business. So what's happening in apparel and accessory and fashion can impact what you're doing in real estate. What's happening in automotive has a direct link to what's going to happen in real estate, because the home is the repository of all these luxury goods and services. So you want to know what's going on in the periphery so that when you are in the market to sell a home, you know exactly what's going on and who to reach and which buttons to press to make sure that you get the right price at the right time, right? That's education, that's intelligence. We've got our own primary research program. We interview affluent consumers in 17 countries around the world. Not one of our competitors does that. Our research is 200 pages with God knows how many charts. You need any assistance on where the market's moving, what's the size of the market, it's all there for you in our network, right? In addition to that, we've got a fantastic co-op advertising program. You can get discounted ads to the Wall Street Journal, to the Financial Times, to magazines such as Lux Interiors. I mean, at highly discounted rates. If you went solo, you would never be able to have such media access. Plus, we've got a strong PR program. In addition to that, we've got a brand collaborations program. I haven't made the announcement yet, but in a few weeks, we'll be introducing 12 partnerships, a dozen partnerships with very, very big luxury brands. If you're in our network and you're a broker and your agents, they want to do something with one of these members, these brands, guess what? It raises your luster in the market. So that's the whole sensibility here. We are treating our own product as a luxury product, and everything is clean, everything is fresh, everything is new, and it's all relevant. We want to make sure it's relevant.
And everything is consistent. So
yes.
What I believe in and what I believe that you are building consistency
yes.
throughout the luxury brand. Like, for example, Birgit, who was guest on at your event, how you were promoting the importance of staging the property,
yes.
not just for the photo shoot for 15 minutes or one, well, actually the photo shoot at the property like that, it's more likely 2 hours or longer, but not just for the photo shoot, but also for someone to come in a week later and have that positive experience with the staged property, how the professional photography, and it's not just because the photographer is wonderful. It's also the photographer is talented, and the company you are using is someone you can count on. So that is very important. The
Absolutely.
products, the services to make it easy for sellers and buyers, and that's again what you are introducing to your to all your members. And I think that is amazing, and it's also important to constantly remind again to be consistent and not to forget any details.
Absolutely.
Well, we have a couple
Um,
questions here, a couple great ones from Jeffrey Kaufman and one from Heather Meisinger, specifically about New York City. When are the foreign buyers coming back? And can you comment about the foreign buyers in demand versus the rest of the country, New York City versus the rest of the country, how you see the luxury market 7 to 12 million?
Okay, so let me take the question about the foreign buyers coming back, because I think that's all dependent on travel, and international travel, as you know, is a little constrained right now. Here's the funny thing: if you're in Asia, except for China, most parts of Asia, you can still fly into New York. All right, but if you're flying in from China, you cannot. The same thing with the EU. You cannot fly into New York from the EU. So New York historically gets a lot of people from, I mean, all over the world, because, you know, you have your kids going there for schooling. You use that as investment. And we saw a lot of Russian money, Chinese money, European money, Asian money. It'll come back. It's sitting there. It's basically impatient in their markets. They know that New York's a very strong market, and all that money is to fund all our condos and the super talls, 80, 90 plus story towers. So that will take some time. That investment will take some time to come in, as long as we have these embargoes on travel. Uh, Hopefully, we may see a change by Christmas, but I don't see any change in the government's restrictions on travel into these markets. So that's a slight holding pattern. But that's not to say that the condo market's not coming back. I mean, the New York condo market is coming back, and Diane's on this call, and I mean, I wish she could speak because she knows that market very intimately. So that was the New York this thing. There's another question, right, along with that?
Yes. And then another question just about the high end luxury market in New York City, the 7 to 10, 7 to 12 million, just how you predict and see it progressing from this point in the year and it being not a low tax state.
Yes, I mean, if you're in New York, you're not there just for the taxes. I mean, that's something to remember. New York is prestige. It is a lifestyle. And you know, when you're in New York, you've got access to the best talent possible. And so that market, while it's slowed down a bit, it will pick up again. I don't have a timeline for that, truth be told, because you know, it's all consumer sentiment. If the stock market's doing well, you know the property market will do well, because they're so intricately linked. And in New York, I mean, the real estate industry is so key to the city's survival. I mean, 50% of New York City's taxes come from the real estate business. So I hope the city realizes that they can't kill the golden goose by raising any taxes there. So a lot of that $7 to $12 million market is also dependent on foreign investors, but we are seeing a healthy growth in the domestic demand for those apartments too. It's just that you have a glut of apartments in that sector right now, so you know, we just have to be a little cautious. But I see that market coming back. It may not happen in the next 3 months, but definitely in a year's time, if COVID is in the rearview mirror.
We have a
Awesome.
question. How do I join your network?
Yes, that's a very good question. It depends on which market you're in. Is Jeff, which market is Jeff in? Is he in the New York market? Which city is he in? Oh, he's in New York, right. All right. So Jeff, our member in New York is Brown Harris Stevens. So if you want, I can basically introduce you to, I mean, Diane just left Brown Harris Stevens, but you know, we can introduce you there. They are a member in New York, and you know, as you know, they're one of the biggest brokerages in the tri-state area. So when you join them, automatically you become part of the Luxury Portfolio Network because they're one of the biggest members in the Luxury Portfolio network. So that's the way to go about it. Brown Harris Stevens. And if you want, you can just email me, Mickey@luxuryportfolio.com.
But Jeffrey, if you are not in New York City, but in New York State, there are other companies like on
Yes.
Long Island, you have Coach Realtors, for example,
Yes.
and so on. So there are several companies in New York State. So I just wanted to
Yes,
just
absolutely. Very good point. Thank you for pointing that out, because we do have, and in the metro area, you have Houlihan Lawrence, you have Ravis, you have, Brown Harris, you have Coach Realtors. So we have quite a few members, and I can tell you, if you're looking for a new home, do check to see if your brokerage is part of Luxury Portfolio International, because that is going to be a tremendous benefit to you if you're operating the luxury end of the market. Take a look at luxuryportfolio.com to see what types of properties we have in our network. We've got 20,000 live listings up there right now. So it'll give you an idea of, the homes we deal in.
And every state has several companies that you can join if you are looking for a new home and you would
Yes.
like to be part of the company that is part of Luxury Portfolio International. So please study, because it's incredible how United States is just covered with professional approach. It's really wonderful. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we are at time here, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And I just want to thank you so much, Mickey, for spending time with us today. Your insights were amazing. I think we all learned a ton. And again, if people want to get in touch with you, they can email you at mickey@luxuryportfolio.com. And then the website is luxuryportfolio.com.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Make sure to subscribe to Lucy's YouTube channel. You can see previous episodes plus a ton of other interviews and valuable content. And then surprise, we're actually taking a break in August. So we will be dark in August. We'll see you again in September with some amazing guests. We'll be starting back on September 15th. So that is all. Thank you so much again, Mickey, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in September.
Thank you so
Great.
much, everybody. And please go to vht.com/learn to watch my previous episodes, as well as, YouTube channel. I have really great interviews, actually talking about Brown Harris Stevens. Richard Grossman was amazing. Lunch with Lucy with Diane Ramirez. So please visit my channel and enjoy the videos. And thank you so much, Mickey, for being part of our event today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Kate. What a wonderful way to spend this lovely afternoon. I wish you all the best. You're in a great industry. Be safe and give it your best shot. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the
Bye-bye.
best.
Bye, everybody.